or the member shows over at Techwebcasts.
Yo, you are in the right place at the right time, listening to the right thing. Techwebcast. Congratulations on choosing such an awesome thing to listen to. You are clearly very smart. You're into tech stuff. You love hearing Brad and Jason and their guests chat, and you're probably really good looking too. Well done. So let's get into it. The weekly tech extravaganza that is Techwebcast. In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Welcome to episode 183 of the Techwebcast podcast, recorded on Saturday, the 7th of April, 2012. Techwebcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. On tonight's show, Brad, Steve, Vincent, Jody, and myself, Brian Maxwell. This is the Techwebcast. Good afternoon, Brad. Everybody, how is everybody doing today?
Afternoon. Hello, Brian. Hello, Vincent. Hello, Steve. What's up, guys? Take 2 of this podcast. We stuffed up big time. But anyway, let's just jump in right now to Scott from Audio. Scott.
Hey guys, how you doing?
How you going, mate? What's been happening?
Pretty good. All sorts of things have been happening. Back in Australia after a good launch party in early February, and then have been spending some time over in Europe. Got some stuff launched in Germany, Portugal, Spain, Denmark as of now. So lots of stuff all around the world.
So what is the difference between Audio and Spotify?
That the difference between is it's all kind of do with product. I mean, basically, what we're looking for at Audio is how to bring your discovery back to life.
Definitely.
So most people, when they kind of when they went to high school or at the university, their collection kind of just died because they used to go to their mate's house and go over to and listen to their collection, and then when they liked it, they go out and they bought it. And then people got busy, had families, and their collection kind of just stayed stale. So somehow we are trying to, how do you figure out to get that offline experience online? And so that social discovery of, following good music, people who like their music, and it just kind of bubbles up, and people say they've discovered more music now in the last, kind of in 2 days than they did over 2 decades.
All right, Vincent, far away, mate. You have to be quick on the questions, mate. Go ahead.
Yeah, g'day, Scott. How you going?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I have a question from a musician's perspective. Like some of the other streaming services, like Rhapsody, Last.fm, and Spotify, got a bit of criticism over the low royalty rates that are paid to musicians. I was just wondering how Audio compared to services like Spotify.
So we don't have an ad-based system, so it is just a music subscription place. So we think that music deserves to, people should listen to it, and it's not, how does content then support an ad business? So at the get-go, that is probably one of the bigger criticisms that artists have, is the music they are getting from their free airplay. I think in general, streaming is just a nascent thing, and so the pie, there's only about 10 million people worldwide on the paid subscription model, and so, it's a small pie for a lot of people to kind of get their piece of right now. But as it's growing, it's probably going to be growing 2.5 times or 3 times over the next year. And as that pie grows, the musicians will be getting a lot more than they are now.
All right, cool.
It's a transition in the industry.
All right, quick question for me. When are you guys going to be on Boxy Box?
Well, we are trying to be, having your music everywhere and anywhere, so all those deals are being worked out.
Cool.
The exact timing, I don't know right off the top of my head.
Good stuff. Steve, question? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is kind of what Vincent said earlier. Have you had any trouble, like, working with, like, the music industry, like the recording companies, to get this music on audio or anything?
Yeah, no. So there's the labels and labels and the publishers have been, quite. It's taken them a while, but they're now embracing the streaming services. So it's pretty hard when you have all the stakeholders in place. So the labels need their artists, The publishers are taking care of the authors of the songs. We have investors, and we need to maintain. It's not a charity, and then and the consumer wants to hear the consumer, and it needs to be a good price and in a format that the consumer wants to listen to. So lining all those guys up has been a challenge, but I think now that it's been we got a model that works, and people are pretty supportive.
All right, good stuff. Brian, any questions?
One of the things, not really so much a question, is more of a comment. One of the things here before the show when I was talking to Brad that I do have to say that I love the way that there is the human aspect that is integrated into the service and into the app. It seems like with Pandora, you're kind of you're one man out on like an island, and it's I really like the human aspect of Vardio, and it seems it brings you a little closer to everyone, and that's really not this was a question, but just a comment.
Good stuff. Yeah, I love.
Yeah, well, no, it's the
best thing ever out there. So Scott, I have to rebook you, mate, to get you back on the show so we can so you have a proper conversation over Skype and stuff.
Do you want to? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything before you go about Audio? Any news coming up or?
No, I mean, there's not big news at the moment. We just continue to get some partnerships, and we got some really good traction in Australia. Australia is one of our better performing markets, and love it here, and making sure that the whole place just kind of continues to grow.
Good stuff.
So happy to talk to you next month.
Definitely, mate, for sure. And we also got some codes to give away too. Thanks from Audio as well. And loving the iPhone.
Oh, fantastic!
Loving the iPhone app, and the iPad app looks great. And good stuff. So Brian,
thanks, guys.
Thank you, Scott, for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
Okay, anytime. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
All right, that was Scott from Audio. Brian.
Yeah.
That's
great. No, it just it's cool to hear and talk with because I think a lot of times you have a lot of you have a lot of podcasts and a lot of people that talk about a product from a company, right? Yep. You guys will talk about whether it's a case or a keyboard or a monitor, and you don't get the chance to really, talk with somebody at the company, and that's what I love with what you guys do is you get somebody from the company and you put, and again it's that the personal, the kind of the human aspect to a corporation, and it's just cool to hear because I think a lot of the personality from these companies really comes out in the people that work for them.
Yeah, definitely.
And and like I said, it's one of the things I really like what you guys do. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack it there. It's all you.
Hijack as much as you want. Vincent, what's your view on that, mate?
Yeah, it's excellent. It's good to see more services opening up in Australia, of course. But I have some concerns. There are bands like AC/DC have pretty much rejected all sorts of streaming services, and I know other overseas artists like Adele and Coldplay have rejected as well. On the point that the amount of income that musicians actually receive from these streaming services is incredibly low, and some of them are saying, well, it's just not worth it. So I was curious how Australian artists feel, if there's any difference, how many other bands like AC/DC have the same view as AC/DC or what? I'm not sure.
We'll have to ask them anyway. What about you, Steve? Do you use any sort of music streaming program like Spotify?
I don't know. There's only very certain times that I really listen to music, mostly in the car, believe it or not. Actually, what I think it was Vincent just said, that he mentioned about the bigger bands doesn't seem like the streaming. Perhaps for smaller bands it would be great to get their music out there and people listening, so obviously they get more listeners. But I don't know, it could get some of the bigger bands more exposure as well, but I guess they don't see it that way because they don't make much money off of it.
Yeah, there was a good article that came out. I posted it on my Vintuitive Google Plus page this morning about how much musicians make, and there's this infographic. You might remember seeing it, whereas there's these huge big pink circles, and Spotify being one of the biggest ones down the bottom, it's showing as a representation of CD sales, how much the musician receives from a CD sale compared to how much they receive from Spotify and other services like that, and they put it in the perspective of, well, how many streams would they have to get to receive a decent sort of weekly wage, and compared that with CD sales and other sales all the way down, from iTunes MP3 sales and other services, and found that Spotify is just, I can't remember the exact number, but it's crazy, and that's why some of these bands are not interested. But one of the things, a comment that was made on my Google Plus page this morning about Spotify coming to Australia was that the concern was with the amount of data usage when when we're being capped on the amount of data we can use in Australia, which is quite different to America. Not sure, if this is factored into the calculations they do when they think of opening a streaming service in Australia. That the caps exist, and people are very, very particular about what they download and what they stream because they've really got to watch the data usage.
Yeah, definitely. Is there an ETA on Spotify?
No, I don't remember seeing any dates, but they did announce recently. I think it was just this week that they're launching here.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's have a chat with Brian. He does a podcast with Mike called Insanely Great Mac. Also does other voiceover stuff. Brian, tell us about that.
We originally Mike over at Insanely Great Mac. Mike has been doing the Insanely Great Mac page for, I want to say, close to 300 years now. No, it was. I remember back in school. I remember going over to his dorm room and the very, very first versions, the inception of Insanely Great Mac, and just seeing what he was doing and just thinking to myself, yeah, this is kind of neat, but will stuff like this take off? And this was probably back in, I want to say, 94, 95, and Mike's just I think Mike is, and I hate to. He's probably gonna get like a text message from him tonight, and he's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" Mike is the one of the things I got to give Mike credit for. Mike is the internet version of Madonna, and by that I mean he's been able to kind of go and at first Mike was a news site. It was just kind of Mac, Mac and Apple centric, just like news and rumors and what's coming out, and it went from that, and it kind of merged into his let's say his I don't know, Mike's been able to kind of go, and he's been able to kind of ride the waves very well, and now Mike's been doing a lot of stuff on YouTube, and getting a lot of the visual stuff out rather than just kind of posting up a picture and just when if you've never done a review of a product before. Let me just throw out kind of an idea. If you guys could jump in here too, because you've probably seen this as well. You get a product from a company, and they send you a press release with the product. It's this very verbose, very wordy. It's saying how wonderful it is. It's the best, whatever. This is the best, most advanced ever. It will tie your shoes. It will turn your lights on and off. It will drive you to work, and and the thing is, a lot of websites will go and just regurgitate that. They'll literally cut and paste onto a website. And I think the thing that Mike tries to do is to say, well, I'll read what the press release has to say, but at the same time, Mike's kind of like, well, hey, there's there's this, there's something to it. I like the way it feels when I use it. It's made well, or he'll even say, this thing's kind of it's not the best of the bunch. And so he's been going and getting into the video stuff, and he decided to start doing a video podcast. And we were trying to kind of find our way through everything. I mean, you guys have been doing at this a lot longer than we have, but just trying to figure out the different technology. I'm looking at you're on the video feed on Justin TV on the live stream, and just the amount of technology that's going into the video feed. It's there's a lot involved in this, and for you guys who are checking out the Tech Webcast, whether through video or audio, not only is it, I know you guys will say this too, it's a labor of love because there's a lot that goes into it.
Oh yeah,
and I mean and it's trying to go and between Australia and Texas and me here in New York, there's a lot to it. So I understand what you guys have done. I applaud anybody who does any sort of web broadcasting, because I do believe it is a future. It's the instant on, and it's it's something that this is where everything is going. But anyways, back to the Insanely Great show. One of the things that when we started the show was we never wanted to be a very dry, boring tech show. You have people who go on. I'm not going to name names. It's not you guys, obviously, but it's you see some of these shows and it's like they just want to tell you, like, okay, here's the news and this is what's going on, and this app doesn't work anymore, and this one, and it's boring.
Yeah.
And like you guys, it's like it's a bunch of guys, bunch of buddies hanging out in this gigantic clubhouse that's like the size of Earth, and you're just hanging out, you're having fun, and you're enjoying doing what you're doing. And that's one of the things we wanted to do. And I think it kind of when people started watching us at first, because Mike usually comes in, and Mike is Mike does a kind of a very, very standard intro. Hey, Mike here, I'm coming in, and then I always try to find a way to throw him off right at the beginning of the show with something that has nothing to do with tech. A couple of weeks ago we talked about Gallagher, the comedian Gallagher. Yep. And how he had a coma, he had another heart attack, and just it's something different.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you hang out with your buddies, when you hang out with your friends, you don't like walk in and you don't say like you don't walk in and say, hey Steve, so that that OtterBox case, it's a pretty tight fitting case, isn't it? No, you're like, hey guys, what's up? You're hanging out before the show.
It's all good fun. Yeah, it's all fun.
Exactly. So we try to have a little bit of fun. We sometimes we'll talk about strippers on the show. We'll talk about fun things, but it keeps it light.
Exactly. Also, Jody. Hey, Jody, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Brad?
How you going? Welcome. What's been happening?
Well, tonight was a very eventful evening. I think my mother is in town visiting from Florida, and we had a event with the family. And yesterday, my daughter went to Greece. So personally, it's been pretty hectic. So I apologize for jumping on late.
It's cool.
But thanks for having me on.
Oh, good. Any news stories you want to talk about?
Did you guys already talk about the Google Glasses?
No, we haven't.
No.
Okay. Is that something that you were planning to talk about?
Ed, fry away. Go ahead, talk about it.
Oh, just see, and here, Brian, this is where I think you're absolutely right. I think in most instances, people don't walk into somebody's house and immediately say, "Yo, what about that OtterBox?" But this is a group.
So, Jody, those glasses. Yeah. Tell me, no. Well, first of all, I want to ask. Okay, you said your daughter's in Greece, correct?
Yes.
So does that mean tonight will be a fireside sit down with the significant other and some wine and nice quiet evening, if you know what I mean?
I really wish, but no, nothing like that. It actually happened. It happened more like my mom. My mom's here. We went to visit my relatives. We were in a room with 30 other people who were some way or another related to me, and had a meal. We actually had a Seder. I'm just kind of like beating around the bush, but yeah, tonight was the first Seder. So yeah, it was a lot of ceremony, a lot of speaking in strange tongues, and
it doesn't sound that romantic.
You're like, Mom, I'm trying to make out. Go away. You're like, it's a repeat. It's a rerun of CSI. Go away.
No, there was no making out. There was nothing like that.
Denny's is open 24 hours. Go there. Waffle House, 24 hours. I'm making out. Go away.
And then you give her like $20, so it'll last for a while.
Well, thanks, Steve. And so now that we've gone completely in the gutter, but in any case, yeah. Did you guys see the news about these glasses that Google's talking about? These augmented reality glasses.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything. Well, a little bit about it, but that was it. Just that they had glasses, and that was it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how real it is, and I don't know whether it's just kind of a teaser. But apparently, there was something leaked to the media. And I guess Google officially unveiled Project Glass, which is the company's bid to develop Terminator-style augmented reality glasses. So they look actually kind of neat. I definitely need to get them when they come out, but I'm not sure exactly. I didn't know if you had seen any of the prototypes or what they do, or?
Yeah, I sent it. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. I probably wouldn't wear them, but I don't know. Steve, wear them at the moment.
I'm waiting for the combination when Google Glasses meets Google Goggles. Do you remember Google Goggles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that combination where, for those who don't remember Google Goggles, it was announced that they could do face recognition with your phone, and so you just hold it up and you point at the person, and it tells you everything about that person, like connects to their Facebook page or LinkedIn or whatever. So to have those on the glasses would be fantastic, especially for people with bad memories who, can't put the name to the face and go, Jeremy, yeah, right.
Let me throw a monkey wrench into the conversation, though. And I want to get your guys' opinions on this, because Google has not had a good track record of putting out hardware. Let's be honest. They came out with a couple of phones, and one of the huge issues that people complained about was there was no tech support. If you get yourself an iPhone, you call up AppleCare. If you get yourself a Razor, there's places you can go. You can call up your carrier, and they'll forward you on to Motorola. And the thing was, Google just had zero infrastructure set up to support their actual phone. Now, when it's something like this, and when, of course, this is if this comes into fruition, this has got to be. I mean, this is not going to be a $10 set of glasses. This is going to be a chunk of change. Now, do you really think that Google, how do you think it's going to work out, given that their track record is not that hot with hardware?
Well, the first reaction I heard to it was, this would be great if Apple made it.
Good point.
Well, see, hardware manufacturers for years have been trying to, trying to integrate 3D TV at CES, and just people aren't really into it, 3D television. So I'm guessing these glasses will be kind of the same thing, because they don't want to really wear glasses while they're, watching things, or, if it was integrated to the monitor or the TV or whatever, it might take off, but I'm kind of
I think that's why they made them only partial glasses, so it's not obscuring the person's face. Because imagine if they were like sunglasses and you couldn't see the person behind them to communicate with them. So, but even so, because it is half, it sort of looks a bit cyborgish, or even a bit more too weirder or something.
And maybe that's what they're going for.
Maybe.
You think about, this is kind of futuristic in the sense that it will tell you ostensibly, what the temperature is, or maybe project augmented reality onto real life.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Real reality? What's the reality that isn't augmented? Is it just reality?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got much higher resolution.
Actually, I tried one of those virtual reality games. I think it was back in the 80s or 90s. And, you had this whole thing you put over your head, and you kind of walked around, and everything was more like LED lights. It wasn't, it was interesting, but not quite there yet. But I don't know.
It was like being in a Dire Straits film clip.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
The money.
Sorry,
I'm
not picturing this. That's all.
Yeah, it was like a bucket.
So now that I've totally hijacked right.
No, I definitely think it would be a cool kind of cool idea. However, there's already been some YouTube videos put up where they've integrated all of the Google AdSense into the Google glasses, and it's got to be horrible. And one of the things that I was talking to a friend of mine about the other day about this was that it's going to it has to like track your eye movements, it has to track and see like what you're looking at, and to me it seems like this could potentially be a really kind of creepy an invasion of privacy.
And what isn't?
I know. Yeah. No, you have a very good point. No, and that's the whole point, is that do you really want Google seeing what you look at? I mean, this is no. Google already has access to your email, and anything you put up on Google Plus, it has access to it. And that was one of the big changes that when they changed their terms of service about a month or two ago, was that they had access to everything. And You know, I don't necessarily. Yeah, and
I mean, if you think about the number of searches that you've done, and you know everything is registered to an IP address, and if they link it all together, the profile, the things that you think are private that you didn't want anybody to know that you were researching or you were looking up, there's a history of all of that. And my understanding is that after a period of time, the information is kind of scrubbed and then made available. So hopefully it's you know, not linked to an individual, but you know, when you think about the number of searches you've done and what kind of a profile you put together, it far and away blows anything that Facebook is doing in terms of privacy out of the water.
I think that's why there is an increasing number of people moving away from using Google as a search engine and just using it for all of these services that are great, but then just using something else for searching, like DuckDuckGo or Bing even.
Well, doesn't some of these web browsers now use encrypted searches?
Yeah, like DuckDuckGo. It doesn't record anything or doesn't monitor your searches.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. All right, let's get back to Brian. Brian, continue your conversation about yourself.
Oh, there's nothing special. I'm a tourist. I like walks on the beach. I'm no.
Birthday.
Oh yes. I see. Brad's talking about how his birthday's coming up here. So is mine. So
is it closer than mine, or is it near, or was it after?
Mine is the 27th.
Oh, cool. That's 28th. Good
day before.
Good stuff.
There we go. Yeah, excellent timing. And you have to thank our mothers, for 9 months earlier. Hey, good job, Mom and Dad.
High five.
You know, because in the back of my mind, you know, I have a brother and sister, and in my mind, my parents only had sex 3 times, and that's it. So it's, you know, it's like, okay, you know, I'm here, thankfully, and I don't want to think about how I got here, but here I am.
You don't think it was immaculate conception? It could have been, you know.
With as bad as I am, no. I don't think it's possible.
We do birthdays entirely wrong anyway, because honestly, we really should be thanking the mother.
Oh, we should.
Great. I always do.
Yeah, I always don't sometimes. But anyway, Brian, what else do you do? What else do you do, Brian? Apart from selling Great Mac.
Oh, apart from that, I've made I don't want to say a living, because that's I don't know, it sounds so old. That's what my parents would say. We made a living. Yeah. You know, your grandparents made a living working in the steel mills. No, you know, I've done a bunch of things. Everything from I've been in the biomedical field. I've done research for companies like IBM, and then I've also done a lot of stuff with kind of broadcasting and content development. Some of the things I've worked on has been voices of some characters in video games.
Oh, nice.
We've gone and we've through the other businesses that I basically, you know, have and I'm part of. We do sound effects. Like if a theatrical release needs a certain sound that they can't go and they can't develop, or if they're looking for something special, you know, we can give them a very, very unique sound for something. And maybe it's just maybe it's a sound of a piece of metal being kind of crumpled up. But you know, they want something that's very specific. We actually do that. And then some of the other stuff that I've done, I had a run on the radio. It was a syndicated radio show. And basically, you know, from there we went on to do a lot of like voice work. So you probably hear me in radio and TV commercials and on your radio on a bunch of stations in the States. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stuff you hear between the songs, kind of the imaging is what we call it, the little things that tell you who you're listening to. I do a lot of that stuff too as well. And then on Thursday nights, I go and I pay my ransom to Mike, and I join him for the Insanely Great show, and that's about it. There is another show that I do. If you go to brianandmike.com, that's actually a show that is an extension of the radio show that we did before on the radio, and it's not really a tech show. It's 2 guys, just, you know, myself, and it's another Mike. It's a completely separate Mike. And he was my co-host on the radio show, and we would talk about the things that basically interest us. And and I was telling Brad earlier, it's not really comedy. We're not like ha funny. There's one thing that I hate listening to is when you listen to a show and people think, oh, well, it's a comedy show, so you have to be laughing and just, just the entire time. No. A lot of times we take things that are in the news and just things that affect us, because I think when you take something that really affects you and that, you really care about, you have that interest in it. It's not just saying like, all right, well, hey, this is the news this week. There's sometimes we skip over news items because I just could care less. And, we would just try to go, have some fun. It's a little more, I don't know. It's, when Jody was asking about the Immaculate Conception, when you listen to the show on brianandmike.com, you'll see why there was no Immaculate Conception. It's a much different show. But yeah, I try to go and, I was talking to Brad about this earlier. In the works is a TV show, and that's something I'm kind of working on right now. And I don't want to sound like one of these like Hollywood types, but can't really talk too much about it. But it'll be something that kind of integrates everything that I do, and it should be fun to do.
Can't wait. Now you also did some voiceovers for GTA 4. Is that correct?
Yes. I did some work for it was a bunch of gaming companies, and they do a lot of there's every little audio aspect in a video game is has to be made. It has to be created. And and when you start getting some of these games that have such a huge cast of characters and so many different things going on, they go and they come to us and they say, well, hey, we need this, or we need something like this, and we go and we produce it up for them. We hand them a package, and that's what we do.
All right. Any questions, Jody, to Brian? Any questions?
I think I scared her away.
So no, I'm sorry. I had my mic on mute.
Okay.
Mute. So Brian.
Yes.
You grew up. Are you in Texas? Where are you?
No, I'm in New York.
Oh, you're in New York. Okay.
Yes.
I'm familiar with that
so
city.
Nice. They named it twice. Yes. little city. We have a couple of cars now. We have those horses and carriages. Yes, and we have those automobiles now. Yes.
Cool. All right, Vincent. Any questions for Brian?
No, I just want to say it bears a striking resemblance to David Hasselhoff.
Oh.
Well.
Them are fighting words.
Wait till you see me in my bright red, swim pants.
All right.
I am.
Any questions for Brian?
No.
Yeah, I noticed because I know Brad was watching your show. I think on YouTube Live or something.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday,
yes.
And so how do you guys do that exactly? Do you just get together on Skype and incorporate the video and certain topics, or how does that work? We
start with a very large cauldron, and we put a lot of these. No, it's as you can see. We sacrifice a sheep. It's well, whatever's closest, whatever we can find. Mostly rats and cockroaches. No, it's difficult because Mike, for the most part, I have on my end, I have a lot of the audio stuff, the microphones, the voice processors, and I send my audio and my video to Mike, who is in Michigan. And from there, he takes it, and I think he uses like 2 or 3 computers to go, and he uses Wirecast, I believe, to do all of the video switching. So when he does the bottom thirds, on the bottom of the screen with our Twitter handles or IDs or whatever you want to call them, and when he switches around to different like screenshots on the computer, he actually has, and I'll have to dig up the actual company name, but it's a USB switch box. And I think he has his main camera, and he has, I think, 2 or 3 little webcams that basically he could switch with this little USB switcher. And so he could take a picture of a product that he has on a desk, or, switch back to himself. And then from there, Wirecast has the ability to mix all the audio and the video, and it dumps it out as I believe a DV stream. And he takes that DV stream of what we've done, and I think he runs it through compressor on the Mac, and then I think shrinks it down a little bit, or does whatever he has to set it up for YouTube, and then uploads it up to YouTube. Because I think because the YouTube streaming is so new, and honestly every week because it's in beta, YouTube has this habit of changing everything. So one Thursday we sit down and we're like, oh hey, there's comments. The next Thursday there's no comments. And with kind of that challenge of the beta stuff, basically we used to be able to go and just dump it automatically up to YouTube. But I think if you did that, then basically the quality is stuck at like 240p and it just looked crummy. I'm watching the Justin TV live stream right now, and it's like crisp and clear. You have the bottom third on there. It looks great. Doing it live through YouTube, at least at the beginning, just looked just bad.
Yeah.
And definitely, I mean, there's something to going out. If you're going to put out a product, put out a good looking product. You want to make sure it sounds good. You want to make sure it looks good, because it shows that you care. And and that's the way we do it.
Question to you, Brian. We do a video each week just with one person in it. Is it worth putting out a video just with one person in it?
I think it is, because there's, again, I keep going back to this, and it used to be that radio and television used to be, coming from my broadcasting background, used to be called appointment broadcasting.
Okay. Where
you would show up at 9 o'clock on Thursday, and there's CSI, or you would show up at 11:34, and there's David Letterman. You would listen to a morning show at 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on this radio station, and that's it. And the thing is we're busy people. We have a lot going on in our lives. That's what we have. We have phones now that basically remind us when to get up, when to take a break. They send us our email. They read us our text. We're inundated by information, and we don't have time to go. And we don't have time to show up at 9 p.m. on Wednesday, because maybe at 9 p.m. on Wednesday you're taking your daughter to the airport so she can fly to Greece, and you can't make it. So what do we have? We have TiVos and DVRs, and we have time switching. Okay. So what basically the net has brought to us is the convenience and the ability to go and to have all of that content that we want whenever we want it. So it's no more. It's no longer an appointment. It's on demand. And even if you have your video, if you have a stream, it doesn't matter if there's one person. It shows there's someone behind this. We care. Plus, I think it's cool too to just check out. I see you got the Shure microphone on the video feed. Just all the kind of the tech toys in the background. It's fun to see, and absolutely. And it's another way to get your message out, to get your content out.
Let's move on real quick about the new iPad and what's coming up in next iPhone. Brian, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, on the let's go to the iPhone first.
Yeah,
I believe with the next iPhone, whatever they call it, the 4GS LTE, whatever, the 5, or my guess is with the as we see with the new iPad, not iPad 3, the new iPad. I think it's just going to be called iPhone, and that's it. And I've always just liked the sleek sexiness of just iPhone and iPad. It's your iMac. It's not your iMac 27-inch. Or, one of the things that I can't stand on the last show, on the last Insanely Great show, Mike was talking about getting a Dell monitor. Okay. And he was kind of, we threw out to our viewers, we're like, hey, what do you guys know about the Dell? And then the model number of the monitor was like this, like 12-digit. It was like the 27AX0442DHD. How are you supposed to remember that? So, I like the sleekness of just iPhone. Well, anyways, I believe, of course, with the new iPad, we saw the LTE, the 4G, coming out with that. Cool. I think we're going to see that on the next iPhone.
Good stuff.
And if anything, possibly you're going to have a bigger battery. Does that mean a larger size? I don't know. Something to think about.
What about you, Jody? What's your thoughts on the next iPhone?
I think that there's going to be keyboard integration.
Hey, all right, Vincent, what's your view on the new iPhone, mate? We're going to move this really up really quick.
It's going to have a big laser.
Hologram.
Big screen, better camera, 4G, which we can't use over here. It sucks. Steve,
I think they'll fix Siri.
Yeah, Siri's great. What's your view on the iPhone?
It'll probably be the same form factor, but it'll have a little bit bigger screen
on
it.
Where's that static noise coming from, mate? Where's that static noise coming from? Anyway, Brian, thanks for being on, mate. You're a legend. Any last words before we go?
It was awesome having you guys on, and I definitely want to get you guys on as well.
Sure.
On the different shows that we do. That'd be very cool.
Definitely.
So thank you for having me.
Just one last question. How did you get YouTube Live?
It was something that I believe Mike had he was a partner, the YouTube partner Okay. And through the partner program, I think it was just something that they came out with beta, and they just said, well, would you like to try it? And then that was it. It was just something they're kind of just rolling out, and I believe that's how he got it.
Hint, YouTube. Can I please have it? Yeah, okay. Well, where can they find you on Twitter, Brian?
You could find me. I have two different versions of myself. You can find me the normal everyday one with the tech. You can find me at IGM Brian.
Cool.
And if you want the stuff that's a little crazier, maybe bad, it's at Brian and Mike.
Good stuff. All right, Jody, Sunswept.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter as Sunswept, and just about everywhere else is either WebMarcom or Jody Brains.
All right, Vincent.
Vintuitive.com and at Vintuitive on Twitter. That's intuitive with a V.
Cool. And me, Brad, I was going to take webcast. Steve?
Twitter's Twitter Linux Chatterbox _ live.
What's up,
yeah, this Mike's messing up on me.
Drunk. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, mate, for the next couple of weeks. You've been great.
No worries.
Coming on. And Steve, thanks for doing the video for the last one for today. And Jason's back next week. And thanks, Brian.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
And any last intro you want to do, Brian, before we go?
No, I just want to say thank everybody who listened to the big episode 183 of the Tech Webcast podcast. And, as we said at the intro, right, rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads Thursday nights at 7. And I had a hell of a time, and I'd love to come back on again when I'm allowed.
Come back.
Hi, Glenn from Aussie Tech Heads. Join Will, Eric, and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. or GMT plus 10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechheads.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest-running tech news podcast.
Well, that's it for Tech Webcast this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed having your mind expanded. Tune in next week for more tech talk with Brad, Jason, and whatever crazy guests they've managed to rope in. Don't forget to get the Tech Webcast app from iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and of course check us out on Facebook too. Until next time, may the tech be with you.